Hello and welcome to Tavern Chat. I'm going to, I realize, piss off a certain segment of the old school gaming community, probably with this cast, and I would suspect what Mike and I are going to focus on Wednesday's Talking Crit. This is kind of like a prelude to what we're going to be addressing, because the lemmings have come out, and I'm not talking real lemmings who really don't jump off cliffs and form these lines, but how they faked that documentary. Well, we have old school gamers that are falling into line, believing the hype, and somehow not understanding the difference between IP, intellectual property, copyright, and trademark. For some reason, they think that, hey, if you own the name, you own the product. Not the way it works. So here's the quick thing. The announcement, the PR release, the press release, TSR Games is back. And I know I've gone over this, but I'm going to do a little breakdown here. The studio behind the original Dungeons and Dragons has returned to Lake Geneva, Wisconsin. No, it has not. Okay, it hasn't. This is not the original Dungeons and Dragons studio. There's nobody on this team that designed D&D, and with the exception of Jeff Leeson, nobody who wrote anything for D&D. Okay, so I don't see how this is the original design team. Ernie played with his father, and God bless him. And Ernie ran the mail order hobby shop. God bless him. I like Ernie. All right, but that doesn't make him part of a design team or a studio. Sorry. So, under the guidance of Gary Gygax Jr., with the help of Wonderfilled Incorporated. Wonderfilled Incorporated. Now, why are we hearing about what does Wonderfilled Incorporated have to do with anything? I will now step away and talk about Giant Lands. Giant Lands is now a TSR game. Giant Lands was from Wonderfilled. Giant Lands is a late Kickstarter. Now, we're going to get to late Kickstarters in a second, in further detail. But Giant Lands is a late Kickstarter from this one. It's from Stephen Deinhardt IV, who, by the way, is now the CCO over at TSR Games, Chief Compliance Officer. There's a lot of chiefs over at TSR Games. So what is Giant Lands? Well, Giant Lands is apparently, supposedly, going to be an RPG that is, D&D without being D&D, or Gamma World without being Gamma World. And you get to wear a costume, poncho, and a mask, I guess, if you're running the game. Don't ask me why. I don't understand it. But it's also supposedly going to be, at some point, an eventual theme park designed to bring the cutting edge of immersive storytelling and role-playing games back home. I don't think role-playing games ever really left Lake Geneva, right? We have Gary Con there. We've had Gary Con there for how many years? So, in any case, moving on from that, when they launched their Giant Lands crowdfunding campaign as Wonderfilled, before Wonderfilled somehow became a partner or part of TSR, I'm not quite sure how that works. Part of their public relations or press release was bragging that the campaign is already 3,000% funded and ends on Friday the 13th. Okay, while pledges include costume or cosplay items, I'm already. The goals include what Deinhardt calls a living game world featuring costume characters, adventures for players, and AI animatronic characters in a themed setting. So we're really shooting high, folks. So 3,000% funded, right? 3,000% must be fucking great. Must be awesome. Well, the goal was $100. Okay, so they have a total of 77 backers for this Kickstarter. They raised $8,001. So, what does this tell me? It tells me that Deinhardt likes to, should I say, stretch the truth, massage the truth, certainly embellishes or puts things in a perfect light that tells his best story. So we're going to go back to this TSR Games press release. TSR was behind the original Dungeons and Dragons first released in 1974, now a worldwide phenomenon, owned by Hasbro on its fifth and most popular edition yet. That statement is a true statement. That's 100% true. I just parsed it, right? That we know that Hasbro, which owns Wizards of the Coast, is the owner and publisher of the intellectual property known as Dungeons and Dragons. Okay, the next sentence. The team includes Justin Lanasa, CEO, Ernest G. Gygax Jr., Executive Vice President, Jeff R. Leeson, COO, Chief Operations Officer, I'm assuming, and Stephen E. Deinhardt, Wonderfilled, as a CEO, which I apparently believe is a Chief Compliance Officer. So we got lots of chiefs. Those two sentences are both true sentences. They have nothing to do with one another. So why are they together? To give the impression that somehow this is the original TSR Games, right? TSR Games, TSR is right now, it is 3 fucking letters. All right? It was 3 fucking letters when the old new TSR snagged the trademark that expired. Now, did they ever capitalize on it? Not really. They never tried to replicate the logos, right? Which, by the way, the logos are intellectual property that is copyright by Hasbro, which is apparently why Wisely, but I don't know if it's going to help. Wisely, the newest TSR, God, this gets confusing, has commissioned new artwork for the logos that is slightly different than the originals. But I digress. So, again, this is not a reincarnation or resurrection or raised dead of the original TSR. It has none of the IP, even if it snags every expired trademark that Wizards of the Coast or Hasbro has let expire. Because apparently they have filed for Blackmore, which, by the way, using the Blackmore artwork on their TSR Con faux flyer, even if you've applied for Blackmore to be your TM and as a TM and trademark, I'm pretty sure they're going to get it because I don't think anybody was going to fight it. Well, maybe Wizards of the Coast may now. But you used Wizards of the Coast intellectual property, something that is copyright them. You don't get the copyrights to these products by snagging the trademark. They've also applied for Star Frontiers. Now, weirdly, Star Frontiers was applied for by Purple Hat. Was it Purple Hat? Oh, whatever. The publishers of Fate. And apparently that never actually got finalized. So, for those of you that are saying, oh, great, TSR is back and D&D is going to be in great hands, they don't get D&D. I know that it looks like they're going to get D&D, right? Because this is what it implies. But no. What you are going to get is Giant Lands. Now, we look at the Giant Lands Kickstarter. Wait, wrong tab. Giant Lands Kickstarter. Now, this Kickstarter page is about Giant Lands. So, what artwork do we see? What photo shows up on this Kickstarter page as you scroll through? Oh, there it is. Now, why would we be getting original D&D booklets and gods, demigods, and heroes, which, by the way, is referred to as god, demigods, and heroes prior in this Kickstarter? It's because, again, they're trying to show you the link between James Ward, original D&D, and them. Okay, but James didn't write the other book, so why do we bother having them shown? Because, again, Deinhardt, Wunderkind, or Wonderfilled, is trying to make those connections. I'm going to have probably a whole episode on this Kickstarter because even though it is filled, well, it is It is funded. It is well over a year late in shipping, and it was due before the pandemic. It was due February 2020, so you can't use the pandemic for saying why it was late, right? So, again, now late Kickstarters. What else would be a late Kickstarter whose obligations would fall now under this new company, right? Because uh, this wonderful game here that we're talking about, Giant Lands, right, which is now being published by the new TSR. What other obligations? Oh, gee, Ernie Gary Gygax Jr.'s Memorial Tomb campaign starter. Now, I will say this: when Ernie was kind enough to show me the bank statement a number of years ago when I was at GaryCon, when people were bringing out the pitchforks and the tar and feathers, saying that Ernie and Benoit fucked them out of money. You didn't get fucked out of money. You didn't get a project. You didn't get what you paid for, but the money was mostly still there. Okay? The two of them made a very smart business decision not to jump into a personal account. It was in a business account, and it was separate. And that's the reason why, if we scroll up on here and we look, it says visit Troll Lord Games. Why is that? Because Troll Lord officially took control over this project. Because Ernie and Benoit, both good, honorable people, are not good at getting projects out. Okay? This is pure fact. Why do I say that? Because this was due in March of 2016. We are well over 5 years late on this project. And we with Troll Lord coming in, Troll Lord is, putting the time in when they can, but they have their own projects. I backed for $150 fucking dollars. I'll be happy to see anything at this point. Do I look at these two late Kickstarters and say, well, the new TSR is fuck? No. But I do look at these two Kickstarters and say, I believe that at least half of the executive team here does not understand the timing of projects. Now, I'm going to make a suggestion. It's going to be a weird one for those that are familiar with this channel. I'm going to say go to N-World and read the relevant thread about the new TSR is back, or however they phrased it. I didn't link it here, but read it. Because they mention a lot of the issues that I mention here, but they mention other issues that I don't mention here, including Justin Lanasa going out of his way to alienate members of the gaming community based upon potential politics issues. You know my stance when it comes to politics and gaming. It's kind of like being at a holiday dinner with family and friends. We don't talk politics and we don't talk religion because those conversations always go to shit. Guess what? Lanasa is making sure a lot of that goes to shit. Now, is he getting people to go, hoo, hoorah? Sure. But you're also alienating people. And you know what? If you don't bring that stuff up, you don't alienate anybody. And the people that are going hoorah are, generally speaking, forgive me for saying this, the lemmings that are going, oh, it's TSR and TSR is back. TSR is not back. The prior TSR, which published Top Secret, The New World Order, wasn't TSR reincarnated or risen from the dead. It was a company that said, hey, these letters have some nostalgia to them, and Top Secret has some nostalgia. And Top Secret was more legit, right? Because they brought back Mo Rasmussen to write that new edition. By the way, the rules are free on DriveThru. I got to link them on the blog. So what does this mean? When it comes down to it, this is just another company using the letters TSR to, depending on how you look at it, to bring the feeling of nostalgia back to a lot of us old school gamers and make you go, oh, that's kind of cool. Or for those that don't understand how IP works, how copyright works, they're going to see these trademarks out there. They're going to see the letters. And I've already seen it online, on Facebook. Oh my God, it is fucking painful to read. Because I want to go out and I want to throttle people when they go, oh, great, TSR is back. Dungeons and Dragons is going to be in the right hands again. That's not how it works, folks. It's not how it fucking works. Okay? Oh, look, they're going to publish Star Frontiers. That's not how it works. They could publish a game called Star Frontiers. It's not the Star Frontiers that you know. Just like Top Secret wasn't the Top Secret that you knew. Right? If they get Blackmore, is it going to be the Blackmore? They can't, because there's stuff that's copyright. Right? So, don't be a fucking lemming. All right? This will be a huge topic, probably the only topic Mike and I discuss on Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central, on this YouTube channel, YouTube / Tenkar's Tavern, youtube.com, / Tenkar's Tavern. And we'll take your live comments. You can ask us questions. I suspect that Mike will be the kinder, more understanding person. He'll be the straight man, and I'll be the ass. But I get more emotional over this stuff because I don't like seeing my community being taken advantage of, and it pains me to see people that I actually personally know and have shaken the hands of go, oh, great, this is a great fuck you to Wizards of the Coast, and TSR is back, and I can't wait to see them publish the old material again. And it's like, oh, what happened? I thought gamers were supposed to be smart, but apparently, this is like, it's the process of when I watch a cop show, okay, or a movie, a lot of times I have to suspend my disbelief. I have to go into it with my eyes half closed and go, all right, that would never fucking happen. They would never take evidence from a sexual assault and put it in a plastic evidence bag, because the evidence will literally rot within hours and be worthless for any kind of DNA testing or otherwise. We would never do that. But I'm watching, and I got to pretend I don't have my knowledge. Well, folks, there are people in our community that are pretending that they have no knowledge about how copyright works and IP works and what a trademark really amounts to. So, tune in Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Mike and I will educate you. On that note, I'd like to thank all of the new viewers. We've been picking up a veritable shit ton of new subscribers, and I really do appreciate it. Great traffic coming in at this channel, Tenkar's Tavern. So hope you all stick around. Something up every day, live streams 3 days a week. We try to keep it fresh. We are still in the midst of the world of the pandemic, and that means use your common sense. I'm not a medical professional. I'm not telling you what to do. Use your common sense to protect yourself, your friends, your loved ones during this time. Be safe, be well. God bless. Knock on wood. I'll be back again tomorrow. And our live stream, Talking Crit, Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern.